The relentless rain was a shroud, a constant, unyielding curtain that seemed to suffocate the very essence of the city. It cloaked the city in a damp, oppressive darkness, where shadows danced and whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. Perfect for him. The metallic scent of blood mingled with the petrichor, a chilling reminder that death stalked the rain-slicked streets. Each drop of rain seemed to echo the silent screams of his victims. He was a specter, a whisper in the downpour, leaving a trail of terror in his wake. His presence was felt, not seen, a ghostly figure that haunted the alleys and back streets. They called him the Raincoat Killer. Each victim, a woman, young and beautiful, found discarded like a broken doll, their lives, once vibrant, snuffed out in an instant of brutal violence, their faces forever frozen in a mask of terror, a testament to the horror they endured in their final moments. Their bodies, violated, bore the mark of his madness, a single crimson rose left upon their chests. This macabre signature was his calling card, a symbol of his twisted sense of artistry. The city held its breath. Fear, a palpable entity, seeped into everyday life. People moved with caution, their eyes darting to every shadow, every corner, as if expecting the Raincoat Killer to emerge at any moment. The rain, once a simple weather phenomenon, had become a harbinger of dread, a constant reminder of the lurking danger. His name, whispered in hushed tones, was John, a name as ordinary as his life had been until it wasn't. His childhood, a desolate landscape of neglect and abuse, had sown the seeds of darkness, a broken home, an absent father, a mother lost in her own despair. He was a solitary child, withdrawn, his only solace found in the pages of macabre fairy tales. Stories of monsters and their victims, of beauty and its fragility, took root in his warped imagination. The line between fantasy and reality blurred. He was a boy drowning in the shadows, unnoticed, unwanted, until he decided to be seen. Gap 3S. The victims, each with their own story, were the tragic threads woven into the fabric of his madness. First, there was Emily, a college student full of dreams and aspirations. She loved the rain, often seen dancing in it, her laughter echoing in the downpour. It was on one such evening that she met him. Her vibrant life was snuffed out, her body found with a crimson rose, a cruel mockery of her love for the rain. Gap 3S. Then came Michael, a young artist whose paintings captured the city's soul. He was a night owl, often wandering the streets in search of inspiration. It was during one of these nocturnal escapades that he became the next target. His hands, once creators of beauty, were found cold and lifeless, a rose lying next to his final unfinished masterpiece. Gap 3S. Sarah, a single mother, working late shifts to provide for her son. Her life was a testament to resilience and sacrifice. She was the epitome of strength, her love for her child unwavering. But even the strongest can be broken. Her disappearance left a void that could never be filled. A rose was found on her kitchen table, a haunting reminder of the life stolen from her. Gap 3S. Lastly, there was Lucas, a high school athlete, the pride of his community. His future was bright, full of promise and potential. He was the embodiment of youth and vigor. But in the eyes of the killer, he was just another canvas. His body, discovered in the rain-soaked park, a rose placed delicately on his chest, was a stark contrast to the life he once exuded. Gap 3S. Each victim, a beacon of light extinguished by the darkness of his soul. Their stories, now forever intertwined with his, a testament to his reign of terror. The city mourned, but the rain continued to fall, washing away the traces of their existence, yet never the memory. His killings were a macabre ballet, each step meticulously planned, each detail imbued with a chilling symbolism. He would stalk his victims, his gaze lingering on their youthful exuberance, a grotesque parody of longing. The raincoat, his shield and his disguise rendered him invisible, a phantom blending into the city's fabric. He would lure them with a disarming charm, a promise of safety in the storm. Then, the transformation. His touch, once gentle, turned brutal, his eyes burning with a terrifying intensity. The crimson rose, a symbol of his twisted affection, placed upon their lifeless forms. his signature, his art. The city became a hunting ground. The police, under immense pressure, raced against time, each passing storm a grim reminder of their elusive quarry. Detectives, hardened by years of chasing shadows, found themselves grappling with a new kind of monster, one who operated with a chilling precision, who seemed to vanish into the rain itself. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The body count rose, each victim a fresh wound on the city's psyche. Leads ran cold, frustration mounted. The Raincoat killer, a phantom taunting them with his elusiveness, remained one step ahead, a specter haunting their every move. But even phantoms leave traces. A fingerprint smudged on a discarded rose.
A witness, her memory jarred by a fleeting detail, the glint of an unusual belt buckle.
Slowly, painstakingly, a picture began to emerge from the fog. The investigation, initially a chaotic scramble, gained focus.
The profile, pieced together by criminal psychologists, painted a chilling portrait of a killer driven by a need for control, by a desire to possess beauty in the most horrific way imaginable.
Their analysis suggested a man meticulous and organized, someone leading a seemingly normal life. The hunt intensified.
Behind the bars, behind the mask, a glimpse into the abyss. The net tightened. The darkness that had once cloaked his actions was now his prison. The masked figure, once a phantom in the night, now stood exposed, his secrets laid bare. The abyss stared back, unyielding and unforgiving. Surveillance footage, meticulously reviewed, revealed a familiar figure. A man in a raincoat, his face obscured, but the glint of that distinctive belt buckle unmistakable. Hours of grainy footage, painstakingly analyzed, had finally paid off. The raincoat, a symbol of his anonymity, was now the key to his undoing. Each frame brought them closer to the truth. John, the quiet librarian, the unassuming neighbor, the man who blended seamlessly into the background, became the prime suspect. His ordinary facade had fooled everyone, but the evidence was irrefutable. The man who had lived among them, unnoticed and unremarkable, was now the center of a chilling investigation. His capture, when it came, was swift, almost anticlimactic. The police moved in with precision, their years of training culminating in this moment. There was no dramatic chase, no last-minute escape, just a quiet surrender as if he knew the game was up. The city, once gripped by fear, could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The man who had terrorized the city for months, who had moved like a phantom through the rain, offered no resistance. His reign of terror had ended not with a bang, but with a whimper. The rain, once his ally, now seemed to wash away the remnants of his menace. The streets, wet and glistening, bore witness to his fall. Behind bars, stripped of his raincoat and his anonymity, he was unremarkable. The man who had once been a shadow, a ghost, was now just another prisoner. The cell, cold and unfeeling, was his new reality. The mask had fallen, and with it the illusion of invincibility. Yet his eyes held a chilling emptiness, a void that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned detectives. Those eyes, devoid of remorse or fear, were a window into the abyss. The detectives, hardened by years of service, found themselves haunted by that gaze. It was a reminder of the darkness that lurks within, waiting to be unleashed. Scars on the city's soul, the unforgettable impact. The news of his arrest spread like wildfire, a collective sigh of relief sweeping through the rain-soaked streets. The city, held captive in a grip of fear for so long, slowly began to breathe again. But the scars remained. The victims, forever silenced, became haunting reminders of the darkness that had seeped into their lives. Families, shattered by grief, struggled to navigate a world forever altered. The city, once vibrant and alive, now bore the weight of memory, the echo of every raindrop, a chilling reminder of the terror that had reigned. Justice served, the trial and conviction. The trial was a media spectacle. The prosecution, armed with a mountain of evidence, presented a compelling case, detailing the gruesome nature of the crimes, the meticulous planning, the chilling lack of remorse. Every piece of evidence was meticulously laid out, from the forensic details to the psychological profile of the accused. The courtroom was packed with reporters, cameras flashing, capturing every moment of the high-profile trial. The public was gripped by the unfolding drama, each day bringing new revelations that painted a horrifying picture of the man known as the Raincoat Killer. John, the quiet librarian, remained passive, his demeanor unsettlingly calm, his eyes betraying no emotion. Throughout the trial, he sat motionless, his face a mask of indifference. His lack of reaction to the harrowing testimonies and graphic evidence presented against him only added to the eerie atmosphere in the courtroom. It was as if he was detached from the reality of his actions, a ghostly figure amidst the chaos. The defense, grasping at straws, attempted to portray him as a victim of circumstance, a product of a broken home, driven to madness by the horrors of his past. They painted a picture of a troubled childhood, filled with neglect and abuse, hoping to elicit some sympathy from the jury. The defense attorney argued passionately, trying to humanize John, to show that he was more than just the monster the prosecution made him out to be. But their efforts seemed futile against the overwhelming evidence. The jury, however, remained unconvinced. The verdict, delivered after weeks of deliberation, was swift and unanimous, guilty on all counts. The weight of the evidence was too much to ignore, and the jury's decision reflected the gravity of John's crimes. The courtroom fell silent as the judge read out the verdict, the finality of the words hanging heavy in the air. It was a moment of closure for the victims' families, a small measure of justice in the face of their immense loss. John, the Raincoat Killer, was sentenced to life in prison, his reign of terror finally over. As he was led away in handcuffs, there was a palpable sense of relief. The dark chapter had come to an end, and the community could begin to heal. The prison cell door closed behind him, a stark reminder of the consequences of his actions. The long dark hallways of the prison would be his new home, a fitting end for a man who had brought so much darkness into the world. Epilogue. The lingering echoes of rain and terror. Years have passed. The city has rebuilt, the scars slowly fading into memory. Yet there are those who will never forget, the families of the victims, forever haunted by their loss. The detectives forever marked by the darkness they encountered, and the city itself, forever changed, forever vigilant. The rain still falls, but it no longer carries the same weight of fear. The Raincoat Killer may be gone, locked away in a cold, sterile cell, but the legend of his crimes lingers, a chilling reminder of the monsters that lurk in the shadows, waiting for their moment to emerge.